Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a modern apartment building for all of your city building needs. I'll show you how to give your apartment building as many floors as you like. I'll also show you how to make the apartment building's reception. I'll also show you how to make each individual apartment that each have a living room, bedroom, and they even have bathrooms. Not to mention the balconies. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to subscribe to the channel and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all of my stuff sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. So just before we start building, ladies and gentlemen, here are all of the materials that we are going to be needing to make our apartment complex. Please do make sure that you have access to all of those and enough of them as well. And do bear in mind that if you want to add additional floors to the complex, then you will of course need more of those materials. The amount of ground space required to make your modern apartment complex is a 13 by 18 block area. Please do mark this area out in your world as represented by the white concrete rectangle if you are planning out your city. And that's it. Pause the video if you have to make sure that you have access to all of those materials. Make sure you've got enough space to make it. Make sure you're ready to build this awesome modern, super modern city apartment complex, please. And once you are ready, we can begin. Step 1, modern apartment building comrades. Come all the way to the front right hand corner of the grid. That is if you've made it. It really doesn't matter if you haven't, we're starting very soon. Count to the left from the front right corner, 1, 2, and 3. This is the starting position. I want you to place 16 white concrete blocks on top of this point right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I then want you to extend that 16th block to the left by 3. 1, 2, 3. We're then going to extend all the way down to the ground to make a very modern looking shape. Eventually, once we have extended down, we will end up with something that should look exactly like this. Now this is where the entrance is going to be. I would highly recommend destroying the 2 blocks in between the entrance at the bottom here, replacing them with your interior flooring material, mine's going to be oak planks, and placing a double door on top of that. To which I am then going to suggest placing a layer of glass block above those doors, and then a layer of grey concrete on top of the glass block. And here's how we are going to separate the floors. Every time you see grey concrete here, sandwiched in between 3 layers of light blue glass. Now that's important. Every floor begins with the row of grey concrete, and then 3 rows of light blue glass, and then the next floor is going to be grey concrete. And you want to repeat this coming all the way upwards for your modern apartment building until you can repeat it no more. You will eventually end up with this pattern right here. And as I mentioned, it's quite important because now that we have placed all of those grey concretes with all of the glass intact, we now know exactly where all of the floors of our modern apartment complex is going to go. So, if you wanted to, you could of course extend the top of this and add another floor. I'll be showing you exactly how to do that later. So, next step, ladies and gentlemen, we want to extend the top of the apartment complex backwards. We want to take these 2 corners right here and extend backwards each by 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That was fast. I'm going to extend it over to the right a bit, and I'm going to extend the other corner backwards as well. I wouldn't recommend filling this in with anything at the moment. However, what we do want to do is we want to drop the back 2 corners of the shape all the way down to the ground, and we are going to do a very, very, very similar thing to as what we did to the front, but to the back part of the building. So we have the same basic shape that we have on the front, we just have to fill it in, and it's easy to do. We start from the bottom and we place 3 layers of glass, 1 row of grey concrete. So on and so forth. We want to repeat this, we want to keep doing this until we eventually get to the top. We want to have the same separations for the floors on the back of the building as we do the front of the building. The building's very consistent, so we want to have something which should look exactly like this. The only difference being between the front and the back, of course, is that there are no entrances/exits on the back. Now, the next thing that we are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we are going to, from this back left corner, or the back right corner actually, of the modern apartment complex, you want to one row inwards, one row outwards, aka diagonally here, you want to place a row of 16 grey concretes coming up from the ground. Now, coincidentally, that is about as high as the actual top of the apartment complex itself, so the grey concrete row wants to be equal in height. However, we then want to extend it coming towards the front of the build by 6 more rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's from the top, and then we want to extend it coming all the way down. So, exactly like this, extend all of the grey concrete all the way down to the ground. You'll end up with not quite that, but this, perfect. You'll end up with this shape on the right side of your apartment building. Now, this is quite important. I want you to add a row of white concrete inwards from both of the rows of grey concrete. So this is on both sides, white concrete coming inwards from the grey concrete like this. We also want to have the same separations that we have on the front and the back of the build on the right side of the building here. What does that mean? That means one row inwards in between these rows of white concretes, you want to place 3 glass coming up from the ground with grey concrete on top. 3 glass, grey concrete, 3 glass, grey concrete, and then 3 glass, of course, finally. Now, as you can see, we have that lined up perfectly with the front and the back of the build. So all we have to do is extend all of the glass and all of the grey concrete across to connect to the back part of the building. So we want to extend all of the glass, all of the grey concrete. This is actually going to be where the staircases are inside of the modern apartment complex. And you'll actually be able to see people walking up and down the stairs from the outside, which I think is quite cool. Or creepy. Take your pick. I think it's cool. So it's actually quite a nice part of the building, and it adds a little bit of depth to the building and an additional colour. So what do we do in between the back and the front of the building here? Well, it's quite simple actually. What we are first of all going to do is we are going to fill in the entire right side of the building here with white concrete. So front to back, left to right, top to bottom, however you want to do it. I'm not prejudiced. We want to fill all of this in using white concrete. We are going to be poking holes in this wall. I find it best to have a nice, clean, freshly built wall that somebody spent a lot of time on, me, and then kind of destroying a little bit. It's a little bit easier than just building the holes in yourself. So once you have this plain white wall as we have, I want you to come towards the front of the building. And I want you to take note of where the grey concretes are on the front of the building. And the sides and the back, but you guys get the idea. On the front of the building here, where we have the grey concretes, I want you to follow it around to the right side, and I want you to count inwards towards the back, 1, 2. I want you to place a row of 6 grey concrete coming across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Extend it 1 row towards you. Place quartz slabs around the top of the grey concrete area. I want you to place glass pane around the top of the quartz slabs. I want you to create a double door entrance in the middle of the balcony like this. And additionally, we're going to have a little window here on the side. It's going to look like that. It's going to be right about there, really. If you like, you can extend upwards above the door and place light blue glass block. That is completely up to you. And once you have done that, you will have created 1 balcony. We repeat this 2 more times, or however many times we have to, in relation to the amounts of floors. So for instance, this next level, you can see where the grey concrete is. You follow it around to the right, you count backwards 1, 2, and then you put in 2 rows of 6 grey concrete. And then we have one more balcony, which is up here, which we count to the right. We count back 1, 2, and we place a row of 6 grey concrete and extend it towards us. To which we would then place some quartz slabs around the balcony in a tasteful fashion. We're going to place some light blue stained glass paint around the top of the quartz slabs because we're fancy. And we're going to create a double door with a little window. And I'm not sure whether I like the glass above the doorways. I'm going to leave that up to you. Whether you like it or not, you do it or don't. I'm really not quite sure about it at this moment in time. I'll probably reach a decision by the end of the tutorial. I'm kind of trending towards disliking it because it kind of like connects all the balconies together. I don't know yet, but we want to, of course, also place the light blue glass paint around the balconies, and then you can put something tasteful on the balcony, like a plant. Now that we have done that, we have completed a good side of our house / apartment complex. I guess that they are houses inside the apartment, so once we have completed all of these, I do just want to drop down to the ground level, and underneath the balconies, you can see where we are. One row off the ground, so kind of in between the balcony and the ground. I want you to here, starting from where the quartz slab is, poke a hole in the wall, leave a gap of 2, poke 2 holes, gap of 1, poke a hole. And then place glass pane inside, and you'll notice that it actually sits perfectly kind of like where all of the other balconies are. It's just a little bit of added decoration. So now that we are turning our attention onto the other half of the building, I want you to come and locate this block right here. So this is the upper back corner of your modern apartment complex, and you're one row inwards. It's pretty equivalent to the opposite side there. I want you to extend outwards from this block and place a row of 6 grey concrete coming out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I then want you to extend that 6th block all the way down to the ground rather painstakingly until you eventually do hit pay dirt or pay concrete. We then have to fill this shape in using white concrete. Now, it really doesn't matter how you accomplish this exactly, whether you go left, down, up, right, or will it into existence, as long as you do eventually fill it all in with your white concrete. And later on, you might find that this wall is a little bit boring, but there's bathrooms in there. We don't want too many windows, but I will show you where to put them if you like. Once you have completed this wall, I want you to come all the way to the top corner of it. I want you to extend the corner of this wall forwards by 8 using grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to mark out the position by placing a white concrete downwards from the 8th block. We are then going to extend the grey concrete forwards another 7 grey concretes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you will find that it will actually connect to the front of the building in the same place as it did the back. I planned it all along. We then want to extend this corner all the way down to the ground, because we are not quite ready to work on the front of the building as we still have the side to take care of. This is the shape that we should have. We are now going to place white concrete, and we are going to extend this single white concrete all the way down to the ground. This is a perfect way to split the apartment complex in half, and it's also going to serve as kind of a room divider as well. Once you've extended it down to the ground, I want you to focus on the back bottom part of the white concrete. We're going to be marking out a lot of windows now, so follow this pattern. It starts off a little weird. Place a white concrete and then 2 glass on top, any glass, 1, 2. And then 2 white concrete, 1, 2, and then 2 glass. You repeat this until you hit the top. 2 white concrete, 2 glass, and then 2 white concrete, and then 2 glass, like this. And that is something that we want to double up on. So extend every glass and every white concrete right there, backwards an additional row. So we are going to have double wide windows on the back part of the apartment complex. These windows will actually shine glorious sunlight into our bedrooms. Like this. We are then going to fill the remaining area in with white concrete because it's going to be kind of like it covers about half of the bedroom area and the other half is the bathroom area. There's actually a shower on this back corner wall, and again, no peeking. So white concrete all the way connecting all the way up the back like this, and we will end up with a nice divided area like so. Now we do want to divide this up a little bit more. Above every window, starting from the bottom, you want to, one row above the window, place a row of white concrete that connects the front and the back of the building together in these positions right here, so it's quite easy to see. Additionally, you'll notice that that is where the grey concrete is pretty much on all of the rest of the build. Now we are going to focus a bit more on the front of our building. We are going to take the grey concrete corner at the top of the build and extend it across to join to the top front of our build like this. We are then going to divide this area up a little bit. I'm going to dig in the ground here where we have this grey concrete, and I'm going to join it in the ground to the entrance like this. I'm also going to join it backwards as well. I think I'll do front and back. And then we have to divide up the floors. One row inwards here, we are going to place a layer of glass. Now it's actually going to sit around the inside of the grey concrete row that we just placed. So it will just sit perfectly there. It looks quite lovely exactly where it is. We are now going to place two more layers of glass on top of this. So that'll be one and then two. And then a layer of grey concrete on top of the glass. And then 3 more layers of glass on top of the grey, and once we have 3 more layers of glass on top of the grey, then we will place another layer of grey. And this is going to mark out where all of the floors are. Eventually there will reach a point in which you can't really fit any more floors, so do bear in mind that eventually you will hit the top of the building, which I think that we are going to be hitting for ourselves. I can already see the frame on the front and the sides collapsing in around me, giving us this shape right here. So now you can see that we have a little bit of perspective and depth with our glass and grey concrete. What's important now is on the front of the build, we place white concrete in front of the exposed layers of grey concrete. White concrete across the horizontal grey concrete rows like this. We also want to join that row inwards. We're going to use a couple of rows of white concrete here just to create a solid wall so that everything connects together perfectly. So the end result should look like this. Quite nice really, if I do say so myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've actually made the majority of the outside of your apartment complex. As a matter of fact, the only thing that you would have to do from this point onwards, in regards to the outside, is seal up the top. But if you are not quite satisfied with 3 apartments, you want to come all the way up to the top of your build. I would start by destroying the white concrete on top of the glass at the front of the building. Replace it with grey concrete and place 3 more rows of glass on top. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you are finished building floors, you want to place white concrete on top. If you want to build more floors, place grey. Place white concrete extending left and right to join the top of the building. We are then going to extend the corners back and down here to join backwards towards the back of the build. So we're building it in pretty much the same order as we built the apartment complex itself. Once you have extended across back and down, we are going to also replace these two white concretes here with grey concretes too, and fill in the window using blue glass block. We want to extend the sides upwards as well. So where we have the grey concretes here, we want to extend the sides up and join at the top where the white concrete itself is. We would then have to destroy this row of grey concrete, the row of white inside, and then you simply place a row of grey here, and you fill the window itself in using light blue concrete, just like this. So you simply add another story on top of the pre-existing shape. As you all might remember, we also have to fill the front part of the building that we have now created in using white concrete, and you mark out the balcony by finding the grey concrete on the front, you come to the side, you jump back 2 spaces, and you place a row of 6 grey concrete coming out from the side of the apartment complex. You want to have 2 rows of grey concrete with quartz slabs around the top. You want to place light blue glass pane around the top of the balcony, a double space right in the middle, a little window to the side, and arguably a little bit of light blue glass block above the entrance. As we come towards the back of the building, we will of course have to extend the grey concrete area corner up and across to join the build. We can destroy the grey concrete that we have on top of the white concrete, and we can simply fill in the remaining empty space. We will have to do a similar thing on the sides as well. So we have to extend the grey concrete from the corner and join it down, and we will have to destroy this row of white concrete or grey concrete here and replace it with white concrete. We want to create that dividing row between the front and the back. You want to add another row of white above the window, and then 2 whole rows of light blue glass pane above the window. We then use some white concrete to completely fill in the back portion of the apartment complex, and then once we have achieved that effect, we want to take the top corner of the front of the apartment complex, extend it across, join it to the entrance area. We then can destroy this row of grey concrete, replace it with white concrete. We then want to place a layer of grey on top of the glass area just below us, and then 3 layers of light blue glass block on top of the grey concrete area. Eventually, you will end up with this. And of course, all we have to do is place white concrete here just to seal up the floors a bit. And we are pretty much in the same position that we just started, except we have an additional floor. And you would repeat that and repeat that and repeat that until you are happy with the amount of floors. You can do that endlessly until you hit the sky limit. So now that I have showed you how to add as many floors as you like to the inside of your building, let me show you how to finish the top of the building itself. It begins once again with the entrance. You want to extend up the 2 top corners of the front of the entrance, each upwards by 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Join them together at the top, and then extend the sides backwards using your white concrete. So on the left and right side, you want to create 2 solid rows moving towards the back of your apartment complex. Join them together at the back top 2 corners and place glass pane, specifically pane, not block, in the empty 2 spaces at the top. You have a decision as to whether or not you want to fill the top of this in using light blue glass block, or you can use white concrete or even grey if you do so choose. I would highly recommend filling the top of this in using grey concrete and this is the left side, of course, of the build. Fill the remaining area in with grey concrete, and do choose to add a little bit of skylight feature later on if you do so choose. But for now, just for building's sake, that is how you put a top on the building. So you can see it looks a little bit better this way. You've added a little bit of depth, a little bit of something just by changing the top of the build to make it higher than the rest. You can really see the difference that it makes. In regards to the outside of the building, I'm going to dig out all of the grass that I have around the base of our modern apartment complex. I'd also recommend destroying underneath the windows and replacing them with a material that makes sense, either grey concrete or white concrete. And I am going to replace all of the rest of the remaining area inside of the base of our apartment complex using some smooth stone. Oh, and plus I'm also getting rid of all of these numbers too. I think we're done with them. Now, all of that is definitely worth doing, as it will really clean up the outside of your apartment complex. It looks a lot better like this. Now, when it comes to the inside of your apartment complex, I'm going to recommend you do a few things before we work on individual rooms. The first of which is ripping up all of the floor on the inside, mine is grass, and replacing it with oak wood planks. That's my material of choice. And once you've finished, it'll look like this. Additionally, I would also add a row of white concrete here to join the windows all the way to the left side of the building so that we don't have any floating glass. And also, I would recommend adding in all of the floors. I'm using grey concrete for this. It's quite obvious where they go, as it is the grey concrete areas in between all of the windows where the actual floors are designed to go. And I'm going to also replace the white concretes leading out onto the balconies with a grey concrete as well. So that leaves us a lot to do. We have quite a few floors in this building. So it's actually hard to see from the inside, but you should be able to see from the outside where all of the floors have been fitted. You can quite clearly see that we now have all of the floors for each individual apartment laid out, which allows us to then tackle some of the rest of the decoration. So the first area that we're going to be working on is the sort of lounge, reception, and mail collecting area. This is a fancy apartment building. It actually has a staff working here behind a reception desk. Here are all of the materials that we are going to be using throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these and enough of them as well, and then we can move on to actually building this. So once you have all of those materials, we can now get started. The first thing that I want to do down in the reception area here is I want to establish where the staircase is going to go up to the next floor. Now, this is going to be a single staircase. It's made out of quartz stairs, and it's going to begin where we have the glass block here on the right side of the building. So if you start off by just placing a staircase exactly how you might imagine that a staircase would be placed, just like this, coming up diagonally towards the back, then you should find that this is actually a decent amount of space. It will leave you with a good amount of space as you actually get up to the next floor. So that's just the first thing that I wanted to tackle. If you set the stairs out here from where this window is and just go upwards and build into the actual floor, you should be alright. I do also, however, want to create a wall. Now, I'm going to place two white concretes coming outwards from that stair, and I'm going to join it back here to the side of the windows on the back of the build. And I'm just going to reach from the back of the build all the way to the front, and I'm just going to create a solid wall here. So this is where the reception will be. This is where the actual stairs are, and you just want to, of course, just fill in between the actual stairs there with a little bit of white concrete. Now, once you have successfully done that, we are going to make the reception. So I'm going to place a row of grey concrete along this back wall, joining the new wall and the old walls together. This is kind of like a mail collection area, so jukeboxes kind of look like mailboxes in a weird sort of way. So I'm going to place those next to chests along this back wall. I'm going to also have a spare key area here as well, so tripwire hooks kind of look like what you would hang keys off of. And I'm going to place item frames in front of the jukeboxes with paper on the outside of them. Now, that just looks as though like you'd reach your hand and open the jukebox, like it looks as though that's something you'd post a letter into. So that's kind of my thinking there. I'm going to leave a couple of rows gap between here and the end of the desk, and we're just going to have a row of grey concrete leading from this wall, leaving a space here on the left. Now, you can make this desk a bit fancier by adding a little bit of like quartz slab and maybe even like a quartz stairs on the end there. So it's kind of like a fancy sort of looking desk sort of shape. Now, once you have done that, you might want to add, and I'm just going to grab these materials here. Here's what I'm going to grab. Iron trapdoor, flower pots, poppies, red concrete, red carpet, red glazed terracotta, oak leaves, end rods, and paintings. And I'm just going to create kind of like just a gap here. I'm going to use iron trapdoors here, and then that way people can't just come straight over the desk. And I'm just going to have like a little flower pot here with some poppies in, maybe a couple of red carpets here just to kind of like lift the room up a bit. I also want to have a couple of paintings around as well. So I'd like a single painting here just in between this wall. So that's kind of like a good place for one. You could even have a painting here, although I'm not going to have one because I think a potted plant would actually look quite nice here. So maybe like a potted plant, maybe it can come all the way from the ground to the ceiling. This area here, I want to have a seat here of some sort. So I figure one row away from the glass so we can walk around it. Place about 3 or so red concretes. And we're going to have a lamp next to it, so a couple of end rods on top of each other with red glazed terracotta, looks like a floor lamp. And I'm also going to have a painting, I think. Where could a painting go? Right about here would do quite nicely. I'd prefer it if it was a single painting though, a 1x1 would be quite nice. I want to have a little bit of red carpet in a couple of different places. So maybe we have a bit of red carpet here leading towards the stairs, kind of like equidistant between the lamp and this plant pot. Maybe we can even have a little bit in front of the reception area itself. And we're just going to use a little bit of quartz stair, quartz slab, and we'll use a couple of torches too, just to create kind of like a lounging sofa of some sort, just in the reception-ish area. Maybe a little bit more red carpet or something in the middle there would look kind of good too, maybe. Maybe, you know, just like that, or maybe like all the way in front, something like that, just to kind of like hang out. You could even create like a little bit of a coffee table sort of deal there too, if you wanted to. But you know, these are all design choices. You can do what you like. I'd recommend adding some torches about the place just to kind of like keep things nice and bright above specific points. You know, you can be as lax with them, or you can place them as abundantly as you like, but it's quite a cozy little reception area. This is just exactly how we have it. So I'm actually very, very happy with how this has all been laid out now, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to add more detail to this, feel free to, but this is how I'm going to keep it myself. So the next area that we have to work on, ladies and gentlemen, is the last area, because this floor here that we're going to be working on is repeatable. So we'll be doing this on every single floor above us, except with maybe a couple of stylistic changes here and there, but I'm going to leave that up to you. So here are all of the materials that you will require to make an individual apartment floor. So if you want to make 2 floors, times this material amount by 2, 3 floors by 3, 4 floors times it by 4, you guys get the idea. So do make sure that you have access to all of those materials that you're going to need to make each individual apartment floor, and once you're ready, we can get started. So once you have successfully grabbed all of those materials, and trust me ladies and gentlemen, I know there is a lot of them. I actually don't even have enough room for them all in my inventory, but once you do have all of them or most of them, we can get started. So on each individual floor, I would first of all recommend adding a staircase to the next floor. So unless you're at the top of your building, the staircases will actually go in the same place as they did go on the previous floor. So they'll actually stack on top of each other, you should find. So the staircases, pretty much you just place quartz stairs leading upwards from the first glass block on each floor like that. So just up and up and up, just like that. Where are the walls, you might be wondering, to each individual apartment building? So each wall is actually going to start about here. So right in between the entrance here out onto the balcony and in between the staircase. So I'm going to recommend that you place 1, 2, 3 white concrete blocks leading out from the middle of this wall and joining into the hallway like this. So we're actually going to completely extend the white concrete from the ground all the way up to the ceiling on the next floor like that. Perfect. I'm also going to extend this wall across here, and that is just going to give us a nice big living room. That's what this space is. We of course have to destroy our way back into this hallway, and I'm just going to place a door here so we don't have to do that again. I'm going to place a sea lantern hanging next to the door with an oak sign, and let's say that this is apartment number 1, then we can just have a little number 1 next to it. So you see you've got enough room to walk up and down and around the stairs and, you know, so on and so forth, and you do that to this floor and the next one and the next one. So breaking back into our apartment, I'm going to, next to the door space, I kind of want to have a bookcase area. So a double wide bookcase would actually be good, leading from the ceiling to the floor. I'm going to destroy a 2-block wide gap that will lead us into the bedroom / bathroom area here. So the bedroom is actually kind of a peculiar shape. I want you to leave a gap of, between the window, I want you to leave a gap of 1, 2, 3. So from here, we're going to place 2 white concrete rows leading outwards like that. And let's make it 3 actually. And then extend 1 row towards you and then extend to the right. So this kind of like squiggle shape, as you might call it, is separating. This is going to be the bathroom and this is a bedroom. So you can actually like attach that from the wall to the ceiling just like this. And this is going to lead you into the bathroom. So I'm just going to like knock out this wall here and I'm just going to replace it using an oak door just like that. So this area here, we'll work on this a little bit later, leading back into the living room. Now that we've kind of got like all of the rooms sorted out, right? Like we've got the bathroom, that's the bedroom here, and this is the living room, and we've got access to the balcony. I want a little bit of a television. We want a TV to watch in here. So I'm going to use a sideways upside down quartz stairs next to this door, connect it to the glass using quartz slabs. No block on the right side, black concrete in between, and then quartz slabs on top. So that kind of just looks like a TV with some speakers. So I'm just going to dump these materials. We'll probably need to get them out again and stuff, but I need red concrete and rods, red glazed terracotta, oak leaf, scaffolding, white carpet, chairs, beds, and red carpet. And in this corner here, I kind of want a sofa. So that's going to be made up of about 3 or so. Yeah, but about 3, I would say, red concretes. And maybe I'll just curve this one into the end here. We'll place some stairs in. I'm just going to have a bit of a lamp. Now, this lamp can probably go about here, one row away from the sofa. That's 2 end rods on top of each other with a glazed terracotta. Could even make the... Will that grip to... No, end rods don't grip, do they? The sofa could be a little bit bigger, to be honest. It could be a little bit bigger there than the actual telly itself. I want a little table in here as well, so a scaffolding next to the actual, outdoor area. Scaffolding with a carpet on it looks quite good as just a table. You're more than welcome to add like a chest or so next to it, or wherever you might be able to squeeze one. On the outside of the apartment building, I like the idea of just having a plant out here. So, like red glazed terracotta with like an oak leaf, just specifically on the right side. Doesn't look too bad whatsoever. You could even add like a chair on the opposite side if you wanted to. So, say that you wanted to have like a little chair using like quartz stairs, you could. And you could even have a table next to it, so you could use like scaffolding if you wanted to. And you could just have that on every single floor, mess it around, different colors and stuff. As we come back inside, of course, now we can place some quartz stairs for the sofa, so now we can sit and watch the actual TV. You can add carpet to this room, but the room's already a bit cramped. I don't know where you'd want to add it exactly, maybe a little bit here, or perhaps just like a little bit of carpet in front of the TV. You know, if you wanted to, you really don't have to. But leading into the bedroom now, and by the way, it's just a cozy little living room, right? Like we've got books, a TV, a place to sit, table, a chest. Like it's just a cozy little room. That's all we're going for, nice and simple. Leading into the bedroom, we want to have like a double bed against the window, just because, you know, nice and natural light and stuff. Maybe a couple of strips of carpet in front of the bed in some sort of pattern as you see fit. Maybe, what else do we want? Well, in this room, we want some more, like, personal sort of belongings. So, we'll want, like, chests, armor stands, crafting tables, furnaces, paintings, maybe a sea lantern, maybe torches, something like that. But, like, in this corner here, say, for instance, like, maybe a crafting table, a furnace, chuck a painting above it, maybe have, like, an armor stand to keep clothes or armor. You could even have that, maybe, that like, there, next to the actual, like, bathroom if you wanted to. You could just have, like, a sea lantern. Sea lantern. You could have an actual lantern. They're still called sea lanterns, ladies and gentlemen. They haven't fixed it. I keep calling them sea lanterns, but they're not. They're just regular lanterns. You can have that just like hanging here. It's just a nice cozy little bedroom. Maybe even like add a chest, maybe here if you want to, although that means you've got to climb over the beds, but that's no big deal at all. And that leads us onto the bathroom, actually. So the bathroom requires a couple of different materials, but the first thing we want to do is just... I like the idea of just having a glass here above this door. I don't know why. Strangest thing. So let's lead into the bathroom here. So the bathroom, you can actually get away with destroying this corner row here. So now you've got like a double wide area just inside the bathroom. So what I've got planned for here, first we need like a counter. So oak wood planks, flower pots, and we're going to need a toilet, that's cauldrons, oak trap doors. We need a shower that's going to be made out of a few different things. Quartz is the only thing that we have on us. We need a light blue glass block as well. And what we're going to do here in this corner, I'm going to have an oak plank, which is kind of just serving as like a countertop, flower pot on top of it. In this corner here, just a cauldron with a trapdoor on top. That's just a basic toilet. Next to the toilet, if you want, you can add a large window and fill it in with blue glass. But again, you know, this is a bathroom, so it only kind of makes sense to have that. But I'll leave that decision up to you. This area here against the wall, this little 2x2 space, is actually where the shower's going to go. So a quartz block on the left with a quartz slab on the right will actually do quite nicely. And you're just going to want to add another quartz slab here connecting to the back wall just here on the left. And then we need a couple more things. So I'm thinking a lantern just for a bit more light, maybe in this corner, hanging. You could even use a torch. But in here, what we're going to need is, I want something that looks like a towel. So that's going to be a banner of any color. This apartment's kind of red, so hence why we're using red banners. And that's just going to hang next to this space right here. The shower itself, I'm going to want to have a little bit of regular glass. So I want some regular glass pane. Additionally, I'm going to use a tripwire hook because that just looks like a shower head, and I like using daylight sensors because it looks like a drain. So like the drain would be here in this corner, just looks like the drain. Even kind of looks like a shower head as well, depending on how you have it set up as well too. But the tripwire hook is going to be above, so that's where the water will come from. And glass pane here on the left, it just looks like a little built-in shower built into the wall. Of course, you can have some carpet if you did want to, maybe like a little bit of white or maybe a bit of red and white, you know, just kind of like there's a little bit of a shower mat. And of course you could have a painting here as well. I mean, that's not an uncommon thing to have in a bathroom, a little bit of decoration, a little bit of painting, however you wanted to do that, you know, something like that. And it's just like a nice cozy little shower this way. And ladies and gentlemen, once you've actually done that, that is the entire apartment complete. I'm actually really happy with how that turned out. So not only would you do this once, of course, but you would work your way upstairs here and you would do it again and again and again and again and until you're all done, essentially. Like, you'd repeat that apartment, maybe use different color concretes and carpets and terracottas and stuff, but that's pretty much the entire deal, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. And just to show you, it really does make a big difference to have all of the rooms furnished. If you don't furnish the rooms the way that the modern apartment building is actually set out, you will see it and it will be quite apparent. So even if you do make the exact same floor over and over again, it's way better than just like not having it decorated whatsoever. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all of these videos sent directly to your sub box, whether you're interested in building a city, kind of like all of these builds behind me, or whether you want to make some of the awesome survival related or modern builds that I've been doing on the channel recently. And of course, if you do want to make anything behind me that you might have missed on the channel coming out, then check out the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section for the city builds playlist. I have made so many city builds, guys, it keeps going and going and going. I don't even have time to show you all of them. But if you check out the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section, then you should be able to find them all right there for you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate all of you very, very, very much. I love you all loads and loads. I'll see you in the next one. The best thing that I can do is chuck myself off this modern modern car park right now to show my appreciation. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.